Hello everyone, and welcome back to another coin roll hunting video. In today's video we're going to be searching through this $25 box of pennies, so let's get into it. Alright, so I wanted to start off by doing our typical 5-roll hunt on camera, but before we get into that, I wanted to show you a couple things. So I have all of these books here, really big old stack of coin albums here that I'm trying to fill up. I've got a bunch of them now, so we'll be working on that today. And then I also recently got this Strike It Rich with Pocket Change book that I'm going to be using to help me look for some errors as well. I know this book is really nice, has some super cool things in it. It's really nice because it has pictures of all of the errors in it. And it has it for each different denomination. So if I was looking at nickels or something, I could do that as well. But for today, we have our Lincoln cents here. But anyways, guys, let's get into our hunt. So I'm just going to start opening these rolls, and I'll talk a little bit about what we're looking for. So I feel like the biggest thing that we're looking for pennies is our wheat cents. So the wheat cents are 1958 and older. And it's been difficult getting penny rolls lately, ever since they've gotten announced that they're going to be discontinued. And what I'm doing here is called edge hunting. For pennies, it's not as important as other denominations because there's not any silver pennies, but we do still look for things like those steel cents or Canadian cents or things like that, and they might have an edge that could stand out to us. So I still like doing this and opening a few up on camera just so we can look at those edges together. Now, all of these today are going to be not custom wrap, but bank wrapped rolls, just like this. So we'll see kind of what we get. It's been a little while since I've done a full penny box, but things that we look for those Wheaties, we look for the steel cents, we look for foreign coins like those Canadian cents, we look for anything old like an Indian head cent or a flying eagle. Never found any of those before, but that would be super cool. And then we also look for errors, like I was saying before. I'll be setting aside a ton of coins to look for errors, and we'll also be filling up those albums. We'll also look for things like our 2025 low mintage pennies. Those sell for a decent amount. And then also that 2019 West Point minted penny as well, so it just has that W mint mark on it. And then lastly, the last thing that we look for is our proof pennies as well. We look for proofs for all the different denominations of coins that we do. And I've only ever found, I think I found a proof nickel and a proof quarter, but I haven't found any other denominations. But anyways, guys, going through there, just straight looking at the edges and not looking at the coins really. I don't see anything there, but I'll do a deeper search and we'll kind of see what we can find, and I'll pull you aside whenever I find something. Alright guys, this could be a really good sign. We're in roll number 2 still just looking through, and we have here our first find. This is a 1942 Lincoln cent, which means that it's a wheat cent. So let me flip it over so you can see that wheat reverse there. And there you go, our first wheat cent on the hunt. Alright, so we're in roll number 7, and we have here a misstuffed roll, and it looks like it's going to be a dime. I'm just going to pull this out here real quick. And yep, we got a dime, a 2020 Denver, so nothing super special, but still, we're up 9 cents. Alright everyone, we're on roll number 8, so just the very next roll, and we have our next find. It's another wheat cent. This is 1936, which this is actually an older one compared to what we normally find in our coin roll hunts. Every once in a while we'll find a 30s one, but usually it's just 40s and 50s. So let me flip it over and show you that wheat reverse there. Beautiful coin. We'll add it to the finds. Alright, we're on roll number 10 here. Can you spot what we found in here? Got another misstuffed coin here. It's going to be another dime, I'm pretty sure. If I can get it out of here. There we go. Another dime. 2019. These are all new dimes. So there we go. Another dime. Alright guys, we're on roll 11. We're getting a lot of finds this hunt. But I don't know if you can see it peeking out there, but we have this 1957D here. And 1957 is another wheat cent. So let me flip that over so you can see that wheat cent reverse. There you go, another wheat cent on the hunt. Alright, this is roll number 13, and we just barely got in the roll. I think I pulled like 4 coins aside. We have this wheat cent here, and I haven't flipped it over yet to see what it is. So let's flip it over and see what that date is there. We got a 1941 wheat cent on the hunt. Alright guys, we're on the very next roll, roll 14, and we have another wheat cent here. Now this, I know it's hard to see there. It's this one on the end here, but it's a 1949 Denver. So I'm going to flip it over so you can see that wheat cent reverse. And there you go, another one. We're finding a ton of these this hunt. It's very good. We're on roll 16 here, and we have another wheat cent. So let's flip it over and see that date. So we have, I can't even read that, so it's a 1948 Philly. So there we go, another wheat cent on the hunt. Alright guys, this is roll 17, and we have a little bit of a different find. We have a 2025 Denver Lincoln cent here, which is the first 2025 penny that I've found. Now these I've seen on eBay go for over $1 for just a penny, which is super crazy. Or people will be finding like the whole boxes of them, and they'll be selling them for a ton. So I'll put up eBay comps for that, but that's a super cool find. Alright guys, so this is roll 18, and we found another one of the 2025 ones. Now this one's a Philly one compared to the other one, which was a Denver. Now I'm not sure if there's a difference between them, but I think they're both selling for quite a bit, just since it's the last year of the pennies. But we have that there, so we'll add it to our finds. Alright, so we're on roll 21, and we have our next find, and again, this is one that you got to have a real good trained eye to see that there, but I can see this coin here has some beads going around, which means that it's not a US coin, and it's most likely a Canadian cent. Yeah, it looks like it is. So we got that there, and it looks like it's one of the newer ones, because it's the older bust, and let's see what we have. I forget, it flips this way. We have a 1996 Canadian cent. So there we go, our first foreign on the hunt. Alright everyone, this is roll 22, and we have our next wheat cent find, which is this 1944 Philly wheat cent. So let me flip it over so you can see that wheat reverse there. There you go, another wheat cent on the hunt. This is roll 23, and we've got another wheat cent here. Now let's flip it over and see what we have. And that is, it looks like a 1958 Denver. So there we go, another wheat cent on the hunt. Alright guys, we're on roll 24, and I just wanted to say this hunt has been pretty good. We're finding something almost every roll. So I'm going to just push this aside so you can see, but we have another misstuffed dime. So another 9 cents on the hunt, but let's see what it is. A 1999 Philly. So there we go, another dime on the hunt. Alright, this is roll 25, and we have our next find, which is another foreign. I don't know if you can see it here, but we have this here. You can see those dots sticking out again. But we have, let's see what that says. It's a 1984, I think that says, 1984 Canadian cent. And I wanted to show you guys this too, but for this coin, you can see the edge isn't round. So if I was looking better, I just missed it when I was doing the edge hunt of this roll. But this is something that could stand out to you, because for like a normal penny, you can see that round edge there. But yeah, and then we have a little bit of a younger bust of Queen Elizabeth there as well. So pretty cool. All right, just a few coins back in that same roll, we got another 2025 Denver. So that's pretty cool. All right, guys, so I've got roll 26 here, and I noticed that we actually have an Ender coin on it. So we have this wheat cent Ender here, which is awesome, and I think this might actually be the first time I've ever had a coin be an Ender. I always look for the Enders, but I never get them. And Ender just means it's the coin on the end of the roll. So you got 50 coins in here, so the one on the end is just a find, if you're wondering what Ender means. But I think that's super cool, so I wanted to open it on camera with you guys so we can check out what that Ender is. But I didn't notice it when I looked through the box earlier. So let's see what we got in here. Get this open together. And just looks like a normal roll. This is what all the rolls have been looking like. But we know that last one is that wheat cent there. So I'll pull that out. And we have here a 1944 wheat cent. So there you go. Pretty common year, but still a wheat cent. So we'll hold on to it. Alright guys, we're on the same roll here actually. You possibly could have seen this when I held up the roll, but we have a Canadian cent here. I don't know if you could see that there, and we have this 2009, which I'll hold on to as well, but I'll move that out the way. But we have a, was that 1987 Canadian cent there. But this one also has that edge that's not round. It's got squared off edges there. But there we go, another foreign on the hunt. This is roll 29, and we have another misstuffed dime. So I thought I'd pull it out on camera with you guys and show you what we got. So we have here a 2002 Philly. So there we go, another dime on the hunt. All right, we're on roll 36, and we have another misstuffed dime here. So let me pull this out. There you go, you can see that dime reverse there, and we have a 1987 Philly dime. So there we go. All right, everyone, we're on roll 38. We have another foreign coin here, another Canadian. I don't know if you can see that there, but that's the bust of Queen Elizabeth again. Then I'm going to flip this over so we can see that date, and we have a 1977, that is. So there we go, another foreign on the hunt. All right, we're on roll 40 here, and we have another wheat cent. Let me move this out the way so we can see it there. So there's that beautiful wheat cent reverse there. And we'll flip this over, and we have a 1949 Denver. So there we go, another wheat cent on the hunt. All right, everyone, this is roll 44, and we have our next Canadian cent here. So I'll pull that out, and we have, it looks like it's a 1981 Canadian cent there. But let me show you the other side so we can see that bust there. But there you go, another foreign on the hunt. All right, everyone, so we're on roll 47, and we have another misstuffed roll. We've got several of these, and this is the best because it's the best kind of misstuffed. Whenever I get any other denomination that's misstuffed, it's misstuffed with lower denominations, but with pennies it's usually dimes because they're a little bit smaller and they fit in the roll. So there we go, we got a 1980 Philly dime there. And then I just wanted to say as well, after I am done going through these last couple rolls, I've got 3 more after this one here. I'm just going to go through and punch down some coins in the books that we have, and then also look through them for errors. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring you in for a wrap-up unless we find something else in these last couple rolls. Alright, everyone, so I just finished going through all the coins and looking for errors and everything, and we didn't find any errors or anything, but I kind of wanted to do a little wrap-up with you guys. So we, in the end, ended up with 10 wheat cents. As you can see, all up here, these first 2 rows are all wheat pennies there. So 10 is pretty good for a box. I feel like I feel like the last couple boxes that I've done, and I haven't done any boxes in a while because I haven't been able to get them, but I feel like the last couple boxes have been a lot less than that. And then we also got 5 Canadian cents, which I love to get. I love getting foreigns, and I know some people don't like getting them because you're technically losing out on a cent. But I like collecting foreign coins, so I think they're cool. We also got misstuffed with 6 dimes, so we actually made a bunch of money back with that. And then we also got these 2025 pennies down here, these 3. There's 1 Philly and 2 Denvers, and I put up eBay comps earlier in the video about those because those are just going to be lower mintage and they're the last year of the penny. I also want to show you our coin books real quick. I'm going to move all this out the way. Alright, so I've got our stack of coin books here, and I'll just kind of go through these. So for this bottom one, this is the biggest one, we filled this completely, so it's completely filled. And I mean, some of these coins were in here before, but it was mostly empty. Neither of these 2 pages had anything in them, so we filled this whole book, starting in 1975 going to 2013. Then we have some of these, a lot of these are all just like repeats of the same book, so we've got several of those starting in 75, and then several of these starting between 1941 and 74. So we added a couple to this page, and I think the 59 and 59D here. For this next 41 through 74, we added a bunch as well. And I wanted to say for these as well, I haven't gone through the wheat cents that we looked at yet to see if they'll be punched down in here. So if they are, then I'll put them in some of these books. And I have some books for the older wheat cents as well. So like that 1939 that we found would fit in there. So for here, a bunch on this page again, and I think this 59D we stuck in there, and also the 61D. And for these, since these are all new books to me, I'm mostly just looking for book fillers, so I don't care as much about the condition. So you can see a lot of these, the condition is not very good, but I'm not super worried about that. I just mainly am looking for a coin to fill the spot. So for this book, again, the same thing, just kind of filled mostly on this page, and then some of the 50s and 60s on this page. Now this next book here, this is the 1959 through 98. This is the only 59 through 98 that I have. And this book was completely empty before, so everything that you see here is a new addition to this book. So we did pretty good on this hunt. We're still missing a bunch of spots, especially for the older years, but we can fill those out in future coin roll hunts. And some of these as well that we're missing, they're really easy to get. I just didn't find them for some reason, like the 1998 and 1993 and 1985. They're all, several billion of them were minted. Whereas in comparison to something like the 1968S with only 261 million, so it's a lot harder to get those. And we just have two more, and so they're both these 1975 ones. Now for these, they also were mostly not filled. They had some of the older years put in, but not much of anything else. And this is completely full except for these three 1982s, so the copper small date, zinc large date, and zinc small date for the Philly mint. And then also this 1999 Philly, I just couldn't find one. And then our last book we have here is this, also starting in 1975, and it's very similar to that last one, where we're missing that same 1999 and then also that 1982 copper small date as well. But yeah, we did really well, and it took me a long time to punch these in. I was very excited for this hunt. But if you guys enjoyed this hunt, please consider liking and subscribing. I try to make videos like this doing coin roll hunts, as well as talking about some of the history of my coins. If you have any comments on this video or anything you'd like to share, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. I try to answer all the comments that I can, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.